I want her to desensitize to that experience, and reading it out loud, which is very important, over and over will help desensitize. And then what I have patients do is I have them change the story. So the story kind of starts off the same, maybe with her mom having a seizure, and then she writes about her adult self entering the scene. And now it is a story made up, of course, between her child self and her adult self and her mom, with her adult self providing support, encouragement, reassurance, anything she wants to include in that story. And oftentimes just writing that story, that new ending, can be very therapeutic. People with anxiety are giving way too much power to their thoughts. And anytime someone has an anxiety disorder, there has to be some sort of exposure, like you're facing your fear. So if you have a fear of elevators, you eventually have to get on the elevator. You got to face your fear. But if the fear is death, well, you're not going to die. So what do you have to do? You have to expose yourself to the thought of death. So I thought that was a good intervention to help her see that her thoughts don't have power, and you could repeat these thoughts over and over and sort of desensitize to them.
She has thought action fusion. So having the thought, my son might die, made her body feel as though it was occurring, that the threat was real. And so doing something like turning it into a song is personifying it. It's making it humorous. I think oftentimes when people are thinking about doing an exposure, they're thinking, well, I better get like an 8 out of 10 in my anxiety, or I'm not doing my exposure right, and then I'm not going to get better. You don't have to get anxious. So if she happens to start singing the song and think it's funny, that's still a great diffusion. Yeah, she doesn't have to get anxious to relate to those thoughts more effectively. And ultimately, that's what we're trying to do, is experience thoughts as thoughts and feelings as feelings, rather than messages and threats.
In addition to singing a song, another way to create some distance is sometimes I'll have my patients verbalize their fear with an accent, like an English accent, or it doesn't really matter, an Indian accent. And so when they say it in an accent, it really sort of feels like someone else's thought. And so it also creates some distance, and it can be kind of humorous for them as well. So what you're trying to do is take this thought that they have taken so seriously and make it like, whatever, it's just a thought. It's not that big of a deal. And so saying it with an accent is good as well. What anxiety likes to do is take your time away from you and scare you. And it does that in two ways. It does that by lying to you, by distorting, exaggerating, outright lie, and by engaging you. Just engaging your attention. That's really how anxiety tricks us. And so if we understand what anxiety strategy is, to lie to you and to engage you, then we can have a counter strategy, which is, okay, I'm not going to believe the lie, and I'm not going to engage. It'll come back, but that's okay. But you're trying to rewire your brain to really not engage. Because like a fish in a lake, if you take that bait, you're caught. And once you go down, once you take that bait, once you engage with that thought, now you're going to get really anxious. And like now you're going down that rabbit hole. So I think she has to retrain her brain to not engage, including not plan what to do. And in fact, go on offense. Come on. Yeah, I want him to get sick. Of course, she knows she doesn't want him to get sick, but say it like, come on, I need some practice. So next time he's sick, I can then practice not reacting in the same way I normally react. So let's go, bring it on. And have that sort of bring it on mindset instead of, no, I don't want that.
The exposures are process driven, not outcome driven. So in that case, the reason that we want, like, it's great to do the smallest next step is because you want to meet your anxiety where it is and do whatever your body can tolerate in terms of getting anxiety going and then showing yourself you can handle it. So you wouldn't want to do the scariest thing you can think of, and which can potentially be traumatic to you. You want to do the next step and then get good at that and then move forward to the next hardest step.
She just has to maybe come up with a mantra and sort of get it into her head. Maybe for her, it would be something like, I will not exaggerate risk and I will not underestimate my abilities. And just say it all day long. So it gets in her head. So put it as a reminder on her phone, because she's just underestimating her abilities. I mean, that's not the only problem, but that's a piece of the puzzle. Because when it comes down to it, and her son has a problem, she'll be able to deal with it.